Good morning, beautiful fellow travelers on this planet, friends and family, known and unknown. For a moment, we're here together. How are you doing today? What's the weather like where you are? Over here, we haven't seen the sun in days or longer. It's just this milky, gray, low-hanging clouds, mist, fog. But I never miss the sun. I'm living back in Europe since 2010, 15 years. Never miss the sun. Northern Europe too. Uh, White electric wind, yellow sun wave spell, last wave spell of the first castle. I haven't spoken about castles. I'm not going to really start to do that, but I'm starting to take note of it myself, to see what is in that information. I feel like my mind is growing roots as far as my relationship with the Tzolk'in. It's only 3.5 years old, and I'm still a young shoot growing roots into the ground of its fabric and into the air of its breath. White wind. Today I'm coming here entirely uninspired, which is completely weird for me because the electric wind is one of the 260 seals that I really, really relate to. I love talking. I love inspiring. I love being inspired. And when I'm inspired and I get a chance to talk about what I'm inspired about, life, I don't want to shut up. You might have noticed. But now, last wave spell, my healing had a little to do with my inner critic, and it feels very different now in this wave spell. It's more, I don't feel at the moment when I look for the critic, and it's been very easy through the hand wave spell. He came very easily. Now it's like, hey, where are you? And it feels to me as though it's converted itself more of a supportive energy rather than criticizing or having like a blanket reaction of fear shut it down. It's become healed, transformed into more of a, okay, where are you at? Question, what are you doing? Is this appropriate? Rather than shutting me down in fear. If I listen back to my own episodes, which I've only done one, recently I haven't got the time and I barely listened to them finished. It's like, I don't know. And I'm thinking, okay, what is that? Is that me criticizing? Is that judgment? Is that me thinking I should, in order to please me, speak less because it doesn't please me that I speak so much, and some of the things I'm saying, it's not the what I'm saying, but it's like, is this relevant? Should you be? And it's very difficult or a challenge for me to listen to myself in a different moment to when I'm speaking. And in the moment when I'm speaking, I need, this the only way to do this is to be really in trust and in alignment. Red dragon, trust, occult to yellow sun, which is my core signature, my this lifetime's core signature. and to trust that what I say, what comes through, is somehow relevant. However, there's also a learning process, so that's interesting to see. How do I do this? What am I doing? Why am I doing it? And I notice even now there is, if I check in with myself, where am I speaking from? I'm not feeling the bubbly, giddy, fun energy. I'm not feeling the a little bit more intense joy. I feel a little more, I feel relatively centered, and I feel a little bit, coming from a head space, a little bit the judgment space maybe. Doesn't feel heavily insecure, but it's like, okay, wait, how do we navigate this? And when? And I can't navigate it any other time than now when I'm speaking here. Who's speaking? And a minute I'm starting to think about it, bring in my rational mind, which the rational mind in me itself says, yeah, but I am the one that you should have here, because that's what I've learned in school. That's what I've developed. Use my own thinking to check out where I'm at, to check out the terrain, and then make a decision. Yellow human, free will, wisdom, linked to the wide wind, antipodal, furthest away, furthest from itself. Today's wide wind, so if I don't channel, strictly speaking. But that it would be my, well, it is my wish, my intention to have him, yeah, what is it? Do I need to even say it? To channel? No, to speak from my sense, from myself, from my source, or to, I'm not here to lecture, but I am talking a lot at Tolkien. Yeah, that's my passion. So let's go back there. Electric wind. In the wave spell of the yellow sun, a universe of fire, enlighten life. If it feels to me too big to speak about, or too, I don't know what it is. I have a lot of respect for that seal. And definitely there is a bit of, it's very interesting. This inner critic thing has really changed. I don't feel fear. I just feel like an alert presence. And we are both very careful, very mindful. It's very interesting because it no longer comes in. As I said earlier, it's like not this fear, but it wants to be present. And we're both like, how do we get to know each other? How do we do this together here? Quite interesting. And where do I land in a space of where I don't have to use my mind to make a decision, but to really flow? The occult relationship we have today is with the blue storm on the spectral tone, so very liberating. Tone 3 is always occult with tone 11. And no, in the blue storm, we've just come from there 4 days ago, cosmic, enduring, the storm, the transformation to transform. what endures. And today we transform, release, energize through the blue storm, energize. The storm on 11 is for me very fascinating because the storm is such a liberator, energizer, catalyst. And then tone 11 is a liberator. So it's very, and on tone 11 you're self guided. So it's always the same seal that guides. Like a lot of that. And that is the unseen relationship to this electric wind in our yellow sun wave spell. So our own, and the tone 3, how can I be of service, is one of the questions. How is this ability to breathe, serving life? Maybe that's all we need to remember. That's a fractal. How, the answer to how breathing serves life tells us how spirit serves human. And both the yellow human, who's in the antipodal position today, and the blue storm, who's in the occult position today, are linked to the red moon. For the storm, it's the antipode. For the human, it's the occult. And here is again that kind of mini circle, or the 4 companions linked through the flow state, the clearing, the cleansing, removing what is not required. We call it waste. Waste is one of those words, like problem. We all know what it means, and in practical application of daily life, waste products, yeah, makes sense. But, I mean, the very earth, like soil, is then could be considered that's a waste product. But it is the very soil, it's the very home we live on, the very home life lives in. That's not a waste product, strictly speaking, I mean, whatever our body takes in by way of food, air, drink, whatever, thoughts, gets ingested, gets digested, mentally digested, emotionally digested. It's an information exchange, information, light codes, stored in food, stored in bacteria, stored in thoughts, light codes. Everything is at its core light code. We are, every cell is, and what we eat are cells, what we think are thought cells could be thought of as thought cells that form clusters, they form molecules, they form atomic bonds, they form the likeness of molecules, atomic bombs. You can see atomic bonds, bonds. You can see the in a different, dimension. The world of thought forms is a different dimension to the world of emotional forms, and the two can form very good complementary relationships. They can do the opposite too, and we don't need to concern ourselves at all with anything that anything does, except where it impacts us or we're impacting it. That's what matters. So our own complementary relationships with life, within the individual contexts between our thoughts and our emotions, the proverbial head and heart axis. We need coherence everywhere. When we have coherence in our body, things flow, transformation happens, storm happens, moon happens, wind happens, everything happens in balance in the body. Red Serpent, for example, in this wave spell, tone 6, rhythmic, everything, it needs rest, movement, ingestion, I wanted to go, I'm already going off on a tangent. I wanted to speak about this waste product, just what no longer, what the body does not require. It may have changed it may have transformed it, and then it expels it. And that what it expels is yet again fertilization, nutrition for the next thing. We eat or inhale what another organism expels. We drink what the earth expels. We inhale what trees or plants expel, right? So we're all sharing resources. They go into our system, we convert, then they pass on into another system. Photosynthesis converts light. We eat that. We can apparently directly, and we are whatever. We directly convert light. We can bypass the physiological eating, but we are of a density at this point in time where, so this physicality, we are living in the physical world. Everything, not everything. Arula. Okay, it is what it is right now. Don't talk too much about what it could be or can be or will be or was. Doesn't matter. Does it? Sometimes it matters. Where are we going? Cosmic human in this wave spell. What does that mean? The transcendent human. What does it mean? The cosmic tone is transcendence. What does transcendence mean? To leave, to have experienced, to experience. And the cosmic tone is whatever was valid, whatever stays, whatever is wanted remains, and what is not or what's no longer needed leaves. And transcendence is the formation of everything that is, forming something new, new evolution. The human transcending everything it's so far been, transcending what it is. It's transcending what has been into what is. The minute what is, it is already has been. So where's the distinction between what is and what has been exactly? Where's that line? Where am I and where's that moment in time? Can you pinpoint it in yourself right now? Where is this moment turning into memory? Where's that? Where's that event horizon where what I am becomes what I was a moment ago? If I have to think of what I was or who I was of myself a moment ago, what am I doing exactly? Looking at a past version of myself, remembering myself 3 seconds ago. How does that, at what point can I remember myself? Can I remember myself 1 second ago? Am I present as I'm remembering? Or am I taking my awareness into who I was, and am I leaving my present if I do that? What is presence? I'm very much in the cosmic human right now, linked to the electric wind. Who is the human and the wind are antipodal to each other, super linked. Now, depending on my, shall we level of consciousness call it, yellow sun, the relationship between wind and human is going to be particular to each individual. I can only ever speak from my perspective. And I know what my intention is in life. I know what my purpose is. And I know to speak from that, about that. um, Yellow Humans Analog. Ach Quatsch, White Winds Analog. Now I'm going to go back a minute to the moon here that we're sharing a lot of indirectly today. The moon is very present, but you can't see it. Guys, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. I'm sorry. I have to share this. It's just now I had paused my audio, fortunately, to check out something. I'd saved it, fine. I'd started again, didn't like it, deleted, like it just 20 seconds, 10 seconds, had to start again, started again. Talked for a very long time, got a phone call. So again, half my recording, fortunately only half in this case, got deleted because, as those of you who followed me know, sometimes if I forget to turn the phone off, I get a phone call while recording, InShot freezes and everything I've spoken deletes. It doesn't save automatically. And you know, it always happens to me when the World Bridger is here. Anyone who's followed, it's hilarious. The very first World Bridger in the Dragon Wave spell, this happened. And then some in another, it was, again, it happened. In the World Bridger was for one of the Musketeers, as I call them now. And here we did it again. Oh, there's no point in being upset about this. Flow, moon, indirect on tone 11 today. Both the storm today is tone 11, its antipode, the moon, is tone 11. The human, tone 3, analog today, its antipode, it's occult, I'm sorry, is the moon on tone 11. So we have double power, tone 11 moon, and both moons are guided by moon. A lot of flow. I just spoke a lot about that. Now I have to flow, keep my flow going with the World Bridger with this thing. And I was talking exactly about that, the choices of what we ingest, even information. I spoke about a video I saw about the gallbladder that creates, if it doesn't flush in its optimal state itself, it starts to form crystals. So the information inside our body of maybe angry, maybe shock, maybe bitterness, when we feel that angry, bitter, by the time it's bitter, it's already, anger is still fresh and clean and gets flushed. If we don't really feel it, or we feel it too often, and starts to form a kind of a bitterness, like a permanent anger, it starts to crystallize. The Tzolk'in tells us a lot about the crystalline tone, tone 12. In every wave spell, we've just been through it. The crystal, what in the hand wave spell was it? Mira? Yeah. So, you know, the truth, it gets crystallized. So it forms, it becomes your truth. Your anger, our anger becomes the body's truth if we don't let it go regularly, if we don't clean the system. Oh, beautiful. In the yellow sun wave spell, the monkey is crystalline, crystal monkey. The monkey starts to crystallize. Oh, I can't even take us there because each of us has to just like really work this out for ourselves what this means. I just love the tone 11 today. Really, 11 is liberate. What did I say? Dissolve, release, liberate, dissolve these toxins. Then now I call it that. The anger in our emotional system, the emotional body has to dissolve it. We have to do the emotional cleansing. We have to do the mental cleansing. Don't feed yourself negative information all the time if that means it's going to trigger a negative, quote unquote, negative response in your body, like forming bile and not releasing it, like forming ulcers because the stomach lining, there's no rest. The serpent in this wave spell is on tone 6. We need rest and activity. We need to balance the body. Peace and disquiet. If you're angry, make sure if you're going into these emotions are all natural. They need to be felt, but they need to also be released. Tone 11, always joined with tone 3, service, bonding. If we don't release, the bond becomes too much. The bonding doesn't release. So if crystals are forming in the gallbladder and they don't get flushed, they don't get released, if we don't breathe properly, deeply to release the toxins, now I call it that, through our breathing, if we don't cleanse our mental hygiene, emotional hygiene, all our body, spiritual hygiene, all of it, it needs to happen on all of them, actively or naturally. Then you don't have to, if you're naturally aligned, it happens by itself. The systems are far too many, far too complex, and the human brain or consciousness is like aware consciousness is far too slow, that the tool of aware consciousness is not meant to I believe it's not meant to actively engage in maintenance. That's why the storm is auto-generation. Maintenance happens by itself. The consciousness, the sun, is meant for something else. Creation and the enjoyment of creation. That's what our consciousness is for. The car is meant for driving. It's not meant for you to build it every day. There's certain minimal maintenance that we still have to do, put in oil and whatever, but in the organic world, those things happen by themselves. By themselves. That's the idea. I don't want to have to waste my time really exercising. I want my body to function optimally. I have other things to do with my time. But if I never use my body to its full range of motion and its full ability, then the body understands, well, that full range is not needed. If she lives only in her head, we don't need full motion. So if I don't enjoy my full motion, full range of motion, a lot of it is blue monkey. If I don't enjoy that full range physically using myself, then it atrophies. So I need to make some decision. How much movement do I enjoy? Do you understand? How that's a big one for me. But the cleansing, the spectral moon today and the electric wind in our consciousness, to understand it happens unseen. We don't actively have to engage it here. Today it just happens by itself, liberating. Just don't stand in the way. So, I made my point with the gallbladder. It's a perfect little fractal to describe today. So who else do we have? Who's the analog of the wind? I said it earlier. Go away. The earth. Oh yeah, of course. I'm a little brain lazy to remember. The moon also stands for remembering. Anyway, the electric earth. The electric earth serves the wave spell of guided by the electric dragon, beautifully. Anyways, the wave spell of the eagle. You can do the maths yourself. The earth is the best friend of the wind, synchronizing, evolving, developing, navigating. So that's our support structure today, the spectral storm and the electric earth, serving the electric wind. So the earth is very, very strong. The earth is host to the storm. The storms, even solar storms, serve the earth. The earth has protective shields for anything that should not enter the earth, that would not benefit the earth. But that doesn't mean the sun sends harmful anything, or the cosmos has harmful anything that wants to hurt the earth, so the earth has to shield herself from an aggressor. No, that's just human terminology. The earth has natural shields. The body has its natural shields. We are built that way. If through we're out of alignment, through our childhood, through our collective past, through not applying ourselves appropriately. Why ever, and for me, I'm always interested in the why. Why are we so out of alignment, personally, individually? Why? And my answer is, well, you need to know what you're not in order to know what you are. We have free will, so the human has taken the frequency of itself, the frequency of our DNA, really, really low, really down, almost to the point of like, where does a human disintegrate? How far can a human go before it malfunctions, dies, ages inappropriately, becomes sick, becomes diseased? Where is the edge experience of ease? Where is dis-ease? And which kind of dis-ease is healthy and which is not? Such as when you want a muscle build, you're going to have to go through that point of, oh, just before you want to stop, you got to pull through that, and then you're building muscle, right? There are healthy points of dis-ease, but when they're not, they become disease. So we're exploring, skywalking that. The Skywalker wave spell is the next one after the Sun wave spell, interestingly enough. So the Skywalker is not in the red sun, yellow sun wave spell. However, it was in the blue hand wave spell, preparing us. Let me check this out quickly. It was on tone 7. Wait, this is not the right app. I'm not so good. Let me see. Give me the wave spell. Skywalker. Of course, tone 7 has to be, because always before the wave starts, before the magnet, the same seal is 7. The first yellow sun we met was tone 7, the second one is the magnet. So if we're meeting the magnetic Skywalker next, tone 7 in the previous wave spell, not the one we're in. It's always a wave spell in between the magnet and in between the, yeah. So resonant. In the blue hand, the explorer. Exploring how can we bring heaven onto earth, more of it. If you continuously just brought heaven to earth, brought heaven, we wouldn't know what heaven is. So we do have to have that contrast, yin and yang. That's the engine of creation. That's polarity, but forms a complementary relationship. The resonant Skywalker goes passively through the yellow sun wave spell to become the magnet Skywalker. Oh, beautiful. And I didn't really talk about the magnet on the yellow sun wave spell when we started. Unify, attract, purpose. That's really important, to be conscious of what is the purpose of our consciousness. What's the purpose of our life? What's the purpose of life itself? What's the purpose? I remember a time when I didn't know what's the purpose of life, drove me demented. Because my answer was like, well, if there were no life, what's the point? What's the purpose of existence if the, you know what I mean? Like in a closed system, it is its own, if it's its own purpose. But I've come to my answer, and it's just too beautiful. It's just too awesome. I mean, really, it's too simple. My mind always looks for something complex, and therein it finds the complex, realizes its illusion, and lands on the simplicity, and then it only then it knows its simplicity. It's just so elegant. Anyhow, so our health is really important. Otherwise, consciousness, Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, divine consciousness, God consciousness, highest consciousness, lowest consciousness, whatever, the one, it includes the all, it all, cannot consciously manifest itself through this vessel of your body. And the journey it takes through your life, through my life, through our lives, individually and collectively, that is, it forms crystals, beautiful crystals. Not the kind of crystals that it should form in places where it will cause damage because it will call forth rocks It will create stones where stones shouldn't be created. I'm saying that I think the gallbladder shouldn't be creating stones, or the kidneys shouldn't be creating stones. That's not the place. I'm assuming. But if they do, those stones get placed back into the earth. I mean, whatever happens to them, the atom, the atomic structure, there's information in a gallstone. That information gets released directly into the collective of planet Earth. And every human has now access to that information. And one way, in my belief or understanding, or the way I see it, one way that information comes to us is through the information carrier we call virus. It just brings information. Humans have developed gallstones painfully. Maybe it's killed them, maybe not. This is the information. My system is very thankful to receive that information, because my consciousness, I don't need that information consciously. I need my body to have that information, and maybe it's received that information millions of lifetimes ago, but it can be very helpful to some humans to receive that information now, because the body will know, aha, if I do that, it lands there. It also simultaneously receives the information of millions of other bodies who are not developing gallstones. And then it can intelligently understand this is what we need not to. And then the body will communicate with us. And why are we, if we aren't hearing it, why aren't we hearing it? It communicates to us through our dreams. We should learn to understand our dreams. Take note. Blue night, really important, I think, to understand our dreams, to understand our intuition. If the intuition works, we don't need to understand the dream. If we're healthy, if we're in alignment, we don't need to understand anything at all. Just live. But if we're not, then it's good to have this, like, how does my body communicate with me if it wants to tell me something's out of alignment? A little pain over here, maybe? I don't know. I'm still learning this myself, because I got aches and pains in my body. Like, what are you saying to me? I form a new relationship with pain in my body, which I enjoy very much. But it comes with certain thought patterns attached out of the collective. That collective information is running through my system, and I realize I do not like it, because I see this collective thought patterns are going to get me there. That's the information. If I choose to engage in those thoughts will manifest that over there. I can see where that leads. So I have to now make a choice, yellow human, in this moment, to choose a different path, to choose a different thought, to speak a different word, to choose a different frequency. And sometimes that really takes a lot of light, a lot of consciousness. I have to understand what thoughts can I choose that will not just repress the thoughts I don't want because I'm afraid they lead me down that path. If that fear activates that thought, that can be stronger than a conscious overlay. So I have to learn, I believe I have to learn to understand. I want to understand. How do I do it? That I stay in charge. And yet, what wisdom do I need that not I'm in charge out of fear and I don't know it? You know what I mean? That not a fear controls my life, but an act of desire of what I want, how I want my body to function, how I want to show up in the world, how I want my life to be, how I want my life to feel, how I want myself to feel, how I want my humanity to be expressed in connection with my divinity. To me, that's my purpose. There are many people on this planet who have no dealings with divinity at all, seemingly, and that's fine. That's also divine. That's not needed to be in consciousness. We don't need to be awake to be a optimally functioning human. We don't need to be spiritually awake. We are many ways to be awake. Whatever. Each human gets to make that decision themselves, and that's what makes this beautiful dance on this planet with all these many versions of us that are here. when we waste our time, and I keep going back there, in resisting the choices others make, even if it's many of them and they make collective choices, and we see some impact on the world, we have, yeah, to me, it's like, and where's your peace? Find your peace. Make it your business to be peaceful. Make it your business to be the kind of human you would like others to be, so that you think you can feel comfortable on this planet. But if we still need to influence others so that we feel safe, we haven't yet understood the red dragon and the yellow sun either, and the blue storm either. So right now is about a good time to really get to grips with that, or to invest in the investigation. Should we need that? Should that be something? Where's our peace? Where's our light? Where do we shine? How do we shine? How do we show up? How is this life a life where we say every day, I live an amazing life? Doesn't mean there's never any pain, doesn't mean there's never heartbreak, doesn't mean we're remote from reality or the biting aspects of reality, not at all. But we integrate them. We are at harmony with them. We're not at odds with life. And that shows in the balances of our body and the balances of our bodies, emotional, spiritual, etheric, our environment, our social environment, our harmony with our others out there, beyond us, outside ourselves, who may function very, very differently, who may see the world very, very differently. Are we at peace with that? Are we at peace with their choices? Can we trust them to make the right choices for them? And even if we see they're not, and even if it turns out we're right, can we keep our mouth shut? Note to self. Here I go preaching again. Anyway, I think I'm done. World Bridger is guiding us today. The electric wind is guided by death, opportunity, equalization. Let go. Let go of your own better knowing. Let go of your maybe egoic will, if you can tell the difference. Surrender into divine will, accept, or go with your own free will, go with your own will. There is no judgment. That's like everything is allowed. Everything forms opportunity. Everything, it's a choice we make. To me, the World Bridgers really represents choice. Because as soon as you choose, you separate this from that. You're choosing this over that. We collapse the superposition of possibilities into form through the choice we make. We create through the choice we make. That's our creative tool. That's our creation tool. Choice. Choosing the choices we make. And choose your words wisely today. Speak light. Speak only what you would manifest. Speak what you love. Speak, think and breathe what inspires a feeling of love, what inspires you to flow. And if you can't, or if you aren't, forgive yourself, be gentle. Put the eyes of awareness, put the light of your awareness onto your own block. Where are you forming gallstones? Where is it crystallizing? Where is your flow not flowing? Or where was you, whatever, use your intention to flow through, or use your own intention, your breath to cleanse your system. You can do it consciously. Just use your breath, cleanse all your systems. Think of storm, think of water. Take 3 deep breaths, or 20, or however many you like, or every breath. Light in, toxins out. Everything is in perfect flow. If you want, light in, darkness out, whatever. Don't polarize what shouldn't be polarized. It all belongs together. In breath, out breath. I am one. I am unity of light. The system works itself by itself harmoniously and perfectly. I'm in flow. I don't have to be in charge of all of it, because it's far too much work for my little human self. My little human self is here to function optimally, enjoy, serve the divine serves the human. It's beautiful, it's simple, it's much simpler and much easier than we make it. That would be my words of encouragement and my words of wisdom today. Life is simple. Life is beautiful. Love. Think of a dog. The sun's antipode the dog. Just love. They wag their tail, they're happy. They don't spend time wasting thinking about where it's not. They don't think about what they eat. They just eat. They love. And when a dogs, yeah, everything. Do it yourself. Think dog. There's this beautiful little meme video thing. I don't know if you know it. I love it. I have it saved somewhere. I should post it somewhere. It's this cat sticking its head out the window and enjoying a driving car. Sorry, there's a car driving, back windows open or windows open. Cat sticks its head out. Looks really funny in the speed of the wet wind, and it's just going ah. And then the video says, "Be more dog," and then it shows a cat in water, not minding it, and running with dogs, doing all kind of dog behavior, but it's a cat. I love that video. It's like, be more dog. Ah, yeah. All right. Find your bliss point today and breathe it in and exhale it and give it as a gift to the world through your exhale. Okay. I wish us a gorgeous day and bid us farewell and namaste. See you, hear us, hear me, you hear me tomorrow or whenever. Aho.